This video will discuss the effects of filing a certificate of candidacy. But first, what is a certificate of candidacy? A certificate of candidacy, or COC, is a statement of a person seeking to run for a public office certifying that he announces his candidacy for the office mentioned and that he is eligible for the office, the name of the political party to which he belongs, if he belongs to any, and his post office address for all election purposes being stated. Now, the effects of filing a COC depends on the position the candidate is currently occupying. The position may be appointive or elective. The persons holding public appointive positions are those who are currently employed as government officials, officers, or workers who are not elected but rather appointed by the President or other appointing authorities. This includes those who have current appointments in the government or its agencies. On the other hand, elective officials are those who serve by virtue of winning an election. Examples of elective officials are mayors and governors. So, for purposes of discussing the effects of filing a COC, why do we need to distinguish these two types of officials? The Supreme Court has explained in the 2010 case of Quinto v. Comelec that the substantial differences between appointed and elective officials call for a different approach. First, elective officials occupy their office by virtue of the mandate of the electorate. They are elected to an office for a definite term and may be removed therefrom only upon stringent conditions. On the other hand, appointed officials hold their office by virtue of their designation thereto by an appointing authority. Some appointive officials hold their office in a permanent capacity and are entitled to security of tenure, while others serve at the pleasure of the appointing authority. Another substantial distinction between the two sets of officials is that under Section 55, Chapter 8, Title 1, Subsection A, Civil Service Commission, Book 5 of the Administrative Code of 1987, appointed officials as officers and employees of the civil service are strictly prohibited from engaging in any partisan political activity or take part in any election except to vote. Under the same provision, elective officials or officers or employees holding political offices are obviously expressly allowed to take part in political and electoral activities.
We'll now proceed to the effects of filing a COC. For candidates holding appointive office or positions, we have Section 66 of Batas Pambansa Bilang 881 or Omnibus Election Code of the Philippines. Section 66 states that upon filing a COC, any person holding a public appointive office or position, including active members of the Philippine Armed Forces and officers and staff in government-owned or controlled corporations, is considered ipso facto deemed to have resigned from their office. Upon filing a COC, these individuals are deemed to have resigned from their current appointive office or position. The resignation is automatic and takes effect without the need for any further action or acceptance from the appointing authority. It is important to note that their resignation is triggered solely by the act of filing the COC and not by the result or outcome of the election. Its purpose is to ensure that candidates holding appointive positions do not have conflicting loyalties or divided attention between their current office and their candidacy. By requiring automatic resignation, it aims to maintain the integrity of the election process and prevent any potential abuse of power or influence. On the other hand, for elective officials, the court's ruling in the 2010 case of Quinto v. Comelec is controlling. The court has held an elected official is not deemed to have resigned from his office upon the filing of his certificate of candidacy for the same or any other elected office or position. Hence, an elected official may run for another position without forfeiting his seat. As a result, the current law states that the appointive government officials who file their certificates of candidacy are considered as deemed resigned, while incumbent elective officials may run for an elective position without forfeiting their seats.